we have any public comment? Is there any public,
No. There's nobody on there.
One's on.
No one's on.
no one's up. The only thing that I saw in these minutes were that the absent member was Fulford rather than Fuller.
Oh, there you go.
Indeed, I was absent. Sure.
There we go.
Not officially in trouble. I was skating until that.
So
I can make that correction.
I can make a motion to
Approve as
correct
corrected.
the,
Mhm.
I have made that motion.
All right.
Nope.
Excellent.
Dean can second.
So first item of business is the public hearing language amendments, is I assume to the marijuana language.
Yep.
So I have to open public hearing, correct?
Yep.
Public hearing is open.
You have to have a motion.
I have a motion to open public hearing.
I'll say.
No, you just,
Motion to close.
we'll talk about it, see if there's anybody who wants to talk about it, and then not, then you are absolutely right.
Does anybody have anything to?
Will you give me some background on it?
So basically, we are. When we originally made all of the language for the,
This kind of summarizes it right there. It should be in your packet.
Okay.
And just, basically, we're removing all the marijuana license types except for retail. And limiting the number of authorized facilities and or establishments to one retailer / division center.
So we had what, 2 of each different kinds of licenses. We had a vote. The public voted to have 1 license, so now we're just, like Paula said, we're just making that happen.
Okay.
kind of tightens, just kind of tightens everything up.
Yep.
In line with what was voted for, as well as the original language that we had, we just sort of edited from.
And we're combining the 2 types.
Mhm.
So instead of having the medical and the recreational, it's a combined version.
Okay. Got that. I didn't realize there was different types.
Oh, we've learned a lot.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And that's kind of what took us so long, is at the beginning of the year. Not so much on this group, although this changed a little bit. You guys, but city council was what, half new? And I was new as mayor, and so we took a couple months to just learn. and-
Language.
Yeah, so. And then Paula put together an excellent plan of walking us through each committee. You know, city council has things they need to do, planning has things they need to do.
Mhm.
So we're just executing on that plan.
Okay, so it's on the step plan still.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
So do we need to approve, need a motion to approve the amendments?
We need a motion to close the public hearing.
Close it down, yes.
Second.
And then, it would be, if you guys are in favor of these changes, you make a recommendation to the city council to approve them.
I would like to make that recommendation.
Well, so second, yeah.
Basically, what you guys are doing is asking the city council to approve these changes that we've just discussed, and then it goes to city council.
Should we just hold on?
Yes,
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays?
that should probably be a roll call because we're changing in order.
Geisler,
Yes.
Fulford,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes. Oh, we're getting rusty.
Deskey,
Yes.
Hall,
There we go.
aye.
We're getting rusty.
I know. We haven't had a vote on much, so.
We haven't. That should be it.
Yep.
All right, on to our Spicer introductions Q&A.
Great. Yeah, happy to be here. Now, some of you might not, some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Mike Daly Martin. I'm a community planner with Spicer Group. Used to work for a different firm a while back, Preston Community Services as a planner, consulting planner for the city for 2016 to spring of
Yeah, for like a year, yeah.
yeah, so. But yeah, I'm back with a new group here. This is Cindy Todd, Director of Planning. But yeah, we're here to assist you through all kinds of different things, you know, language amendments like you guys are talking about right now with marijuana, site plan review, you know, we can do grants, we can do parks and recreation plan, master plans, the whole kit and caboodle. So,
Kate, Preston Community Service, for whatever reason, decided they were not gonna participate with the city. And so we had to go out and find somebody else, and we might from before, and so it was like, okay, that was a pretty easy decision.
Yeah.
So just bring you up to speed on why we had to make that change.
Okay.
Um,
Nice to meet you.
yeah, nice to meet you as well.
And I'm
Happy to
sorry,
be back.
what's your, are you like a sales rep for?
No,
Spice?
I'm a community planner.
Community, okay, great, thank you.
Yep, and you've all got the packets that we prepared for you. You've all got my business card, my email, phone. So if you've got questions about things, feel free to reach out.
So as city staff work through trying to do things, respond to proposals or whatever thing, they have questions, right? Mike is one of the people that Paula or whoever we might go to and help get answers to those questions. Like when we were doing the marijuana, there was a lot of things that the city needed to learn, right? That's Mike or whoever adopted me, so.
Council.
Yeah.
also, maybe things like connections and such. Okay.
And sometimes it's capacity, like, I mean, they know how to do some of these things. They already have some of the templates and, you know, they've done it 100 times and we've never done it. So it's just,
Mhm.
sometimes it's just nice to have that, you know, someone to lean on
Yeah, the
to get
expertise,
some, yeah,
yeah.
to get these things, you know.
Well said.
And do you guys have, like, before, do you always have a planner at every one of your planning commission meetings, or just when you guys think you need somebody here?
I don't know that we always need them there, but I guess that's you guys' call.
So it seems like back when you were always here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Since you left.
Not so much.
Unless we needed, you know,
Right.
unless we needed Pete, right? Then-
Right.
Then that was. Yeah. So
Yeah, I feel like when I first started on this, you may as well have been part of the.
Right.
Part of
Yeah,
the
I know.
planning.
I was
commission.
here every month.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's really it's up to you guys, you know, if there are things that, you know, we're working through. I mean, we're thinking about language amendments or, you know, bigger issues that we need to keep talking about, you know, absolutely, you know, I'll be here when you need me. If there are things that you guys feel like you're comfortable handling yourselves, that's fine too.
So, I mean, basically, whatever it is you guys want, we can accommodate that. So, like, you know, we're going through the agenda, like tonight, we got that property maintenance code on there. And I think that, you know, one of the things we're gonna ask Spicer to do is help us through that process. Because they've done that before. So I feel like they should be able to answer a lot of questions on that. And I mean, we also have the Zoom option where I mean, I'm comfortable with them just showing up over Zoom to talk about something. So I feel like that works.
Have you guys known about the network security issues and the class action lawsuits right now?
I saw something.
Yeah, basically a lot of our servers are owned by Russian and Chinese tech companies, so there's like a security concern.
No, really, they're,
With Zoom.
okay,
So a lot of companies, my company included, has gone to Teams, Microsoft Teams, because it's. American thing.
you work for Microsoft?
No.
Okay.
I
that's
work
okay.
at Delta Dental.
Thought you were
It
trying to
sounded
sell
like a
Teams.
pitch, but
Yeah, yeah.
no, I do not work. security.
Ooh, Okay,
Anybody have any questions? Glad to have you back.
Happy to be here.
All right, and then, so last meeting, we've been talking about, introducing some building and property maintenance codes. And in the last meeting, we requested to have a couple examples of those things, that we could talk about tonight, from communities that are similar to ours. But we can go over them and see what we would like to or would not like to adopt for our own. So,
I mean, a couple of things that are in your packet are pretty simple. The one, the actual ordinance in there is, I mean, that's just normal stuff, no trash, no, things that it's really tough for us to enforce right now without those feet. So, and then the other one is just kind of like a little, here's what we want to do in our town, and it's, keep your sidewalk clear, keep your trash, So it's kind of very similar, it just doesn't actually have the ordinance with it, so,
Is that what this county built on?
yes, that's an actual ordinance, and then the one behind it is for the city of Everett, and it's kind of, looks like well, maybe promotional material. Or they may have sent a flyer out to their residents. Okay. Or something that kind of what it looks like to me. But,
Yeah, I think when I pulled it, it said that that's what was sent out after the ordinance was adopted, so people could just understand what was expected of them, because sometimes it's hard to read those things and know what's happening.
yeah, this is kind of,
actually, it's kind of nice, really.
yeah,
It
I mean,
is.
it's an easy,
And we do a lot of, yeah, that's
Hi,
Olivia.
Olivia.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Um,
so we have CEDM. You know, as a company, as an organization,
community,
Michigan
yeah.
community organization, right? They have a fellow, right? That we can apply for and we could get, right? And for like $10,000.
Mhm.
Is that what, if I remember right? We got Olivia for 16 months, 16, whatever the time frame was. So she's full-time helping out here at the city through CEDA. So she's,
Nice.
yeah. So just kind of keep bringing you up to speed on,
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard your name thrown around a couple of times. So.
Well, I mean, if you guys have questions for Spicer or how you think you want to move forward with the property maintenance, I think.
So I'm gonna start with my challenge with this, right? I read something like this. And this may not be a good example, but each property owner shall keep all exterior components of every principal accessory structure in good repair, including but not limited to walls, roofs, chimneys, blah, 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 right? Seems pretty simple, right? But at what point do you determine that it's not in good repair and that it is? That's what I like I said, that may not be a great example, but that's what I always struggle with, doing these things, right?
Subjective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty subjective, like the one, I don't remember what it was, said it can't be, grass can't be longer than 8 inches. Okay, makes perfect sense, right? It's
It's measurable.
measurable, yeah.
Well, what is grass? I mean, we can always argue that.
Well, it's a good point.
Well, and I think that with
Going back to
most of-
marijuana ordinance here.
I think that with most of these things, though, what it really ends up being is, a set of guidelines that if we start really getting complaints about something, then it gives it gives us something.
There's a baseline to look at, right?
Stand.
I mean, I think the thing to remember is you're not gonna have somebody out checking people's roofs or chimneys or whatever, but. If you do have a building that falls into disrepair.
Right.
This would give you the teeth to force them to clean it up. I mean, that's the only way. You know, if you wanna hire somebody that's all they do is climb around on people's roofs and check chimneys and that kind of thing, which. I mean, I don't think we have the capacity to do that, so it probably will be complaint driven.
Do we have a city inspector?
We have a building inspector, but this would be like our code enforcement, which is the police department.
Two different things. So the building inspector would be you're making a modification, you're building a new building. They would come and make sure that it's up to code.
Okay.
And
Cause this property maintenance would be, so what we deal with at this level is with the zoning ordinance, which is an ordinance all by itself. This is a police ordinance,
Okay.
so, but those two affect each other.
Yeah. okay.
You know.
Overlap.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, but, you know, the police, they don't really enforce our zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
But, I mean, if I have an issue, Dan will certainly go out and address it and help us take care of it, but. They can, you know, give penalties and, you know, they can give tickets to people who are violating city ordinances.
Okay.
So it's hard to explain the difference.
Yeah.
It takes a little time to get used to that,
You know,
so.
when I lived in Wausau, we had a city inspector who would
Yep.
go door to door and be like, your mailbox is not high enough, and.
Yeah, or you're, you know, like they have rental inspectors over
Mhm.
there, so you have to make sure, you know, all your things are working, and we don't have that either, and we do sometimes get complaints about that. You know, my rental, you know, my landlord's not taking care of this or that, and we don't have any.
Squeak the wheel.
Well, and how, as a property owner, you know, how do you know what the standard for good repair is? I mean, if your neighbor's complaining and you say it's okay, how do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, and everybody
Might be-
different.
Yeah,
I have an idea. Could it be up to the zoning commission or us to bring it to committal decision that, hey, we need to have this enforced? It would not be just, you know, if he was talking about, yeah, grass is measurable, but subjective as well, that fence is pretty rickety. If it came to a group of people that decide, hey, you know, the zoning commission or the planning commission said this really needs to be addressed. You know, we could do
Frankly,
that.
I don't know how that works.
For things that are questionable, maybe that's something. we
Yeah,
could
the
do.
problem is the guideline, you know,
yeah, there's a guideline in here for appeals and that would probably
Yeah.
fall under
with
that.
me. I might want to paint my house every 2 years, but you might want to paint it every 5 years.
Mhm.
And so as years are starting to fade, should I complain about you? Cause you decide, you know what I'm saying? Right.
And then you're gonna get people that just don't
Yeah,
like
and
each other,
just,
that are gonna try to just, you know, make trouble. So I just think like to avoid a lot of headaches, maybe we need to get some specifics in there as far as what the standards are gonna be.
when
So
you
the
kind of
homeowners know how to comply or whether or not they're in compliance.
Well, why don't
When-
you adjust the language to be more specific, like in the example of the paint, say.
Yeah.
No chipping paint.
I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see, you know, stuff's peeling and cracking, it needs to be addressed.
So. In my experience. Just throwing this out there, but when we start getting real specific like that, it makes it turn into something where. Rather than being a guideline so that if something is falling into true disrepair. It turns into now we're hawking, and looking for details, and then it can become. More of a enforcement thing than what we're really trying to accomplish.
Well, what are you trying to accomplish?
So. Right, it's a fine, and it is, that's a good question, because it's a fine line, because the idea is to have something. Again, where we can have some language to stand on. But not have it be such a thing where it's. You know. Measuring the, you know, amount of cracks per every 3 feet in paint on somebody's house. So figuring out, a good medium. It's, that's what is difficult. About introducing new language like this.
I definitely think this is a great idea, but I agree with her that I think it needs to be a little more specific.
Mhm.
And we're a growing town. We need to start having more specificity to this. I would agree that this is a good outline, just. I would also say we could use this outline, just be a little more specific. Because we do have to, a lot of people's standards, as he just mentioned, are different.
Right.
But if we say what the standards are, at least. As she said, we have the teeth. Or
Well, it goes back to, okay, chipping paint. I could look at any building and there's chipped paint,
Yeah.
any building, right? They could have been painted a week ago.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be chip paint, right? Are we gonna expect people to go out and fix their building every week? And that's just the,
Depends on
it's
how
kind
specific you wanna get.
of, right, yeah, I get it,
Exactly.
I get it, yeah.
You gotta be realistic to what people can accomplish and maintain on.
Yeah. Yep.
An average level too.
can't afford to. Good point.
And then to throw one more little twist in there, you might want something a little different downtown than you do in the residential.
And the other thing I was gonna say, and Paula, correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? We don't want to confuse setting up the guidelines with the enforcement, right? That's something we need to, how are we gonna enforce this, or something we need to talk about at some point,
I
right?
think first we need to determine what it is you
That's
want
kind
to
of where-
control.
That's
What-
kind of where I was
What
going.
you want
Yeah,
cleaned up, what you want,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like you want to figure out what it is you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out who does it and how we get there after we get some of those things laid out.
And that was gonna be a question I had for you folks, is what do you see as being some of the biggest issues with property maintenance in the city right now? Like, what gives you heartburn?
Feel like maybe having indoor furniture that's purpose for indoors, sitting
Outside,
outside, yeah. It's something I think we see a little bit of.
Right?
It's trashy.
yeah. So I would argue why? Why does indoor furniture being outside? Why, based on what you said, why is that now all of a sudden a big X? Can't do it. If it's nice furniture and it's outside and it's protected and it's fine, why not? I mean,
Devil's
I get,
advocate, yeah.
I get if it's
It's-
dilapidated and it's ugly and it
Right.
gets wrecked in the rain, I get that, right? But we can't make the statement indoor furniture outside, we can't do that. I don't think.
Well,
I know
maybe-
Wausau has something very similar
I
to
was
that.
just gonna say, like I said, I'm from Wausau, and we
yeah.
have very strict rules over there about what can and cannot be in the front yard.
When I used to have a rental house, I'd get letters all the time that there was a couch on the porch or, I mean.
Yeah.
When I moved to the city of Lansing, I moved there with a couple of friends. We were all roommates. One of the roommates left one of these chairs out on our front porch. After a couple of weeks, I got a notice from the city, hey, can't have indoor furniture outside. I mean, it is.
It is, I feel like it's pretty common.
It's realistic.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay,
It's where do you want to set the standards?
Right,
What do
right,
you want
right.
this town to look like?
How about, I mean, it's part of this, like, what about cars parking on grass?
That's a big peeve of mine, because that's not what they're meant for.
Right, and I think
Other towns, you get nailed for it.
we have a lot of that,
Lansing.
people driving over our sidewalks and parking in their yards.
Mhm.
And I think that it really is, it's troublesome for the neighbors, it's, that piece of the sidewalk isn't meant to be driven on, because it's only 4 inches thick
Right.
instead of 6. So some of those things are, they're problematic.
The maintenance is-
And I think that one specifically, I mean, I feel like.
I think I saw that in one of those, and
Yeah,
that was a
it's-
nice way to word it, that you
it
can't
is.
park on grass.
Yeah,
Where?
it's parking number 6, all vehicles must be parked on an improved surface. That's important, improved surface,
Yeah.
not just drive up on the lawn.
Right,
No vehicles allowed parked on the grass, side yard or sidewalk. Those are all things you discovered.
right.
And I completely
And I-
agree with
yeah.
something like that.
And when I read that in there, it really, it confirmed some issues that we have with that. And so that, I mean, I think that's something that,
Right, yeah.
I think that's probably one of the
Top.
most common things that we've heard through the past few years.
Yeah.
is Complaints about how and where things are built.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I think it's dangerous for the kids too. having
oh, for
cars
sure,
parked on the
I
sidewalk.
agree.
when they're walking home from school. And they run out into the road.
I mean, I think that, we hear a lot of complaints about people not cleaning up their yards and like there's trash out there, old tires, things like that. I mean. And, we had the spring cleanup to we encourage people to do that, but then still have some folks that don't do that.
Yeah.
But I know you guys were concerned about how you tell people that, but if we get enough complaints about a place, then we really need something to be able to go make them clean it up.
Yeah, we need something to.
I mean, if it's not, if the vehicle's not licensed or operable, we can take care of those kind of things, trailers, that kind of stuff, but like just general trash
Or,
without the right word,
yeah, or, two pontoon boats, and you're taking parts off one to build another, and golf carts. I've seen yards like 4 golf carts that are broke down, they're just using them for parts and stuff, just that kind of stuff. But some people's treasure or other people's trash,
Right, I mean, and they can have those inside their garage,
Right.
but they can't have them.
Or inside a fenced area in the backyard, not to display.
Right.
Well, I'll be honest and upfront with this too, like, from the other side of it. I lived in Owasso for a while, and there was just so much of this stuff and so much nitpicking, so much litter. That's part of the reason why I live in Langsburg now. I started feeling like they let me live in my house as long as I keep paying them, but it's really not mine. I'm losing, there's so much enforcement, nitpicking, control over your property. So I think that's something we need to be careful how we address that as well. To how the homeowners feel.
that makes it look like a bad HOA or something.
Yeah, it makes you feel like,
I was in a HOA in Fort Wayne, I swore I would never be in another one.
it makes you want to leave, it does.
And I feel like we don't want to do that.
Right,
I mean,
no,
That's what I'm saying. we
I
wanna be
think
careful
you're
how we-
absolutely right, that is not our goal here, that we don't really want to become like.
Right.
Yeah, a problem.
But we want to be able to
We don't wanna
say.
But when we have,
Trash all over
we
the-
have,
But at the same time,
yeah, and when we have a problem, we want to be able to clean it up.
yeah,
Have
But-
you taken like statistic as to like what are the most complained about things in the city?
No, we're just kind
Because
of,
it's like
we're
open
just,
up.
We're-
Okay. That-
I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, but we haven't went.
I think this is the first actual thing that we're doing to really get the discussion started.
Okay,
So this is our jumping off point.
okay.
And I think that regardless of whatever our language ends up looking like, or whatever we decide, if we decide to put something in, I like the idea of this. Whatever this mailer
Little
brochure.
flyer.
This would be great to mail out to everybody, so it's simple, there's
Yeah.
bullet points.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have
Yeah.
to change this, honey, that kind of thing, so this is great, it's a great little idea.
And you're right, we may want to put different things on there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just
But I
make it a
think
little more.
that's much easier to read and understand than
Than the ordinance.
the ordinance,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can scratch out ever, put Langsberg on.
Yeah,
No, I do quite a bit of graphic design. Paula's familiar with my graphic design, and I'd be happy to work with Olivia and Paula on designing something once we come up with that. So it sounds like you're trying to make an outline of what you want these to be, the ordinances or guidance or whatever you want to call them. So I really think that you hit the nail on the head with that vehicle, especially blocking any sort of sidewalk. I feel like that should definitely be on there. That sidewalk shouldn't be blocked.
Some of those we have, like.
That
public-
one, they can't block a
Yeah,
sidewalk, but
yeah.
now they are driving over them and parking on the grass.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
I mean, it's just some of these like shoveling snow. Don't we have that covered? Their sidewalks need to be cleared.
Yeah, that's a
That's-
different,
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
doesn't mean we can't remind them.
Doesn't mean we can't, I'm not disagreeing.
Our intention tonight was to just see if this is something everyone is still wanting to try to find a solution. And then we wanted to get Spicer involved, helping formulate that.
well, this is something that can be amended at any time, so.
Oh,
start with some
absolutely, yeah, but I
basics on
mean,
the lighter
we're
side.
this months in the making.
Kind of see how it goes from there. and-
Yeah, so we're kind of just having the conversation, and whatever you throw out might make it in the ordinance, might not, but I think that we should just, everybody just kind of get some things out there, and then doesn't have to stop tonight, you can drive around, take a look at things, see what you know, is good, what isn't good.
I definitely think we should mail something like the finished product out and say, hey, look, we're a growing town. We want to make our town nicer. This is what we're shooting for. I think that's
No,
great.
absolutely, I think it's great.
It's a great idea. I'm glad we're doing it.
So what should we do for next step?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's that next step in this process?
To them.
I'm gonna.
Perfect.
I can pull together a draft ordinance,
Okay.
for you folks, just based on what I've heard tonight. Making sure that these items are covered and, we can just start looking at specifics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big one is the clean your crap out of your yard.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
And
something
parking on the
that-
grass.
And parking on the grass, yeah.
Yeah. we should definitely do.
Well, like, you know, downtown, we have buildings with boarded up windows, I mean, I feel like that's important to address. Like, you know, if you have an emergency and you need to board up your window for a little while, that's fine, but 6 months is a little extreme. 10 years, 30 years, but you know, that's really extreme.
So temporary is acceptable. And
And there is some of that I read in that ordinance in there, you know, I mean, it talks about if somebody has an issue like in the middle of the winter, they can't get it cleaned up to spring, that, you know, we give them the leeway and that kind of thing.
So we can look at a draft ordinance next month and go from there. Cool.
sounds great.
Any other comments on?
And it sounds like between then and now and then, to kind of gather some ideas to bring back.
I think I would agree. Alright. So moving on to updated survey questions. I was hoping that Randy was gonna be here. He's kind of spearheaded this whole thing.
I'm just gonna wait till he gets here or to tell. Ask
Yeah.
us what you wanna do or.
Table it to the next meeting.
So I know that we had kind of gone through and we had given him a couple ideas. Of some edits. Did Randy get with you, Olivia, about?
I made a few edits just based off of what was talked about in the meeting about deleting some more of the specific questions and just keeping it general. I didn't talk specifically to Randy, though, but it is slightly different than the one that I brought last month
Yeah.
by like maybe minus 2 or 3 questions that I deleted off. And then I turned it into an online version to whenever or however you guys want to disperse it when that time comes. So there is an online version of it as well.
And this link up here,
Yes.
that's active. We can look at that.
Yes, it should be.
Well, I would say then let's check that out. It's our selves and we can talk about it next month.
So our homework is to go online and look at this survey.
You guys have any comments on the survey situation?
I guess just a general question as far as where the survey is gonna lead us. Is this to think about zoning ordinance updates or master plan revision and master plan? Okay,
I believe that's mainly was for the master plan, wasn't it?
I think that that's kind of where it's from, but overall, I mean. I think that part of it is that. We don't end up, especially at the planning commission, we don't end up having a lot of. Feedback from the community, right? And we kind of thought that if nothing else, doing a survey like that would kind of give us a good reading of the temperature.
right.
Hopefully.
Hey, we're gonna paint the town purple, right?
Yeah.
And community comes back and says, oh, we don't like purple, we want green, right? It's kind of what we were looking at.
Right, no,
example,
generalization, but yeah.
But yeah, that type of thing, right?
Okay,
Yeah, so no, I don't think that there was a major.
it'll
Goal
be-
we're trying to accomplish, just information together, you know?
right. Well, I think it'll be interesting because, I mean, you can use that data to kind of think about, current plans that the city has. I mean, are these things really representing, where the community is right now? Right, we need to maybe look at doing an update to, the master plan, or, doing some zoning ordinance updates. So
Yep.
that's interesting.
How old is your master plan? When did you guys do your master plan last?
We reaffirmed it last year.
Oh, good.
So I think that that's kind of where some of these questions started coming up, is that, well, if we're reaffirming this, should we ask people what they think? And so we've been kind of kicking that around a little bit, but so it's a 10-year plan then. And so we're getting close to time to,
What we've done with other communities, just as a thought, since you guys are kind of already starting to noodle around some questions that you're having, kind of that you're getting back, and we've done things like amendments to the master plan. And just, so you have your master plan and it doesn't change any of the content in it, but it amends certain other, so it's just like a back amendment to the back of it. So that the document is always kind of a standing document, so you have somewhere where you find this information to put it in there, and so as you start the findings, plan uses, whatever you guys, are thinking about for the future, that helps give you just some direction and somewhere to, kind of document your process. You kind of, once you start doing public input, that's part of the master plan process, and, it's good to get just that in there, and quality points for that, you guys are reaching out to the community, which is amazing, just so you know, amazing just for you guys to be doing this on your own, just asking questions to the community, and you don't have to be, you're not doing it just to update your master plan.
right.
These are strategic questions. I mean, we do a lot of these. It's just the questions you guys have are great. Because usually we're bringing the question saying, what do you guys think about? I'm trying to pull it out of them. And so these are just really pointed questions that you guys really want to find some answers to. So that's just huge. I guess what we're trying to say is, when you do this, just to have it as part of a document, and recommendation would be to put it into your master plan. Some type of amendment that you did in 2023, 2024.
Something you can reference in the future, pull from.
Good suggestion.
Especially if you're gonna update your future land use plan and the master plan. This gives you the motivation to do that.
So I am noticing here, the language here under new programming, boarded up building next to links for library. That's fine, Dee. I don't really want to associate the links for library with anything negative. And I noticed that these other ones have like the name of the building, and that one I think is like Veterans Hall or something. So maybe we could rephrase that to say, Veterans Hall and then parentheses.
It's not really a veterans hall anymore.
It's
So
not.
I don't know that they really want to be associated with that building either.
Yeah, he does. But
Well, we can put the address, but
yeah. I'm just requesting maybe like in parentheses, we can put next to links for library, like we do in the other two. Here. I'm trying to improve the links for libraries in the chair.
Do you have any interest of knowing who's taking it? Meaning age,
Like demographic information.
demographic, are they in, out, within the city limits, when you launch a survey, is it only gonna go to a specific zip code, or how are you doing it? Are you mailing it out, or you just putting it in a newsletter that you could take, you know what I mean? So you kind of know who's taking it. And usually once you get done taking the survey online, you can kind of query and find out, okay, these people were all within the city limits, these people were not, you know what I mean? So you're getting good input, then you can kind of separate out.
And I know we have a huge renter population, right? And that's what I keep hearing. I don't know how true it is. I'd be interested in knowing if they're homeowners or renters.
I think that we tried to not phrase the question, are you a Langsberg resident? Because we wanted to we don't want that to be a standoffish question, right? We don't want, if the first question you read is, are you a Lanesburg resident, and then you stop reading. Because some of our questions are aimed at attracting people to our amphitheater or our businesses or whatever. So I think the way Olivia posed the question was something about, what is your association with Lanesburg? You know, do you live here? Do you, you know what I, isn't that, it's worded something like that.
Might have been
Currently
taken out.
engaged.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
No, I thought I read it in there. Yeah.
I can't remember what all of them.
The one is, do you currently engage with the city?
I mean, we can reword that. It's just all like, but that, I mean, I think that was our, like,
That's how you're trying to get the association.
yeah, we're trying, we can list it, we can whatever, but we want to make sure that the first question doesn't ask, are you a Lanesburg resident? Because we want to frame it differently.
Right.
So that people know that we're interested in both.
Right.
If you want to obtain that information, why don't you put it at the bottom? Click on the back. The last question, if you're interested in obtaining that information.
So these are just work in progress. So, I mean, this is not by any means ready to go to the press. So I guess we're still trying to figure out what, you know, you guys want to do with this.
That question was taken out. That was it. One that Olivia mentioned.
Oh, was that,
No, I didn't.
so the one that you and I, this is out, then this question that you and I. thought it was in. But this was,
Which question are you talking about, Scott?
Well, she had mentioned specifically saying, you know, what do you do? Are you a resident? Are you?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was the specific
We
one
just
that would paint,
reworded, yeah.
that would paint us into a corner. kind of
Yeah,
like
we
what you were
reworded
saying.
Well, then, you know, and then like when somebody, when you ask, do you want city water or not, we all thought, well. All the people who live here are gonna say, no, because they don't want to pay for it. So the people who, you know. Want to visit here, well, yeah. So we wanted to be careful how we approach that question.
Okay.
And I think it's important that we know whether they're residents or not.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
for that,
for
for that,
sure.
for that reason,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
somebody would go, oh, yeah, I wanna put a
Yeah.
big.
Right.
Amusement park in town, and have the city pay for it. Of course, I live out at Lake Victoria and I would pay taxes, but.
Right, and that's
I
what
want
I was getting at too with
Yeah.
the renter versus. homeowner.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, we want that, but we're not paying for it.
Your question could be, do I live in the city? Do you live in the township? Do you live in, you know, and this
Right.
very general questions. And so
Right.
then when they say, well, you know, I live in one of these areas, or I live in another state, actually, I'm just visiting and I want to take the survey. It's just so
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah, the other category.
I
you know.
like your idea of whatever of those questions we'd like to add, putting
Yeah.
them at the end of
At
the
the
survey.
end, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I won't
I like that
dissolution,
idea.
anybody can take that.
Mhm.
and the one thing with surveys, we found that, you know, people have a certain kind of attention span on surveys, and so, you know.
Needs to be short and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to be short and sweet, and even if you're gonna do like QR code, so they could do it, they could either do it like on, they could do it on the website. Some people don't know what a QR code is or do the website, and they need to take a paper copy, so that, you know, maybe they're gonna come into the office and take it. Or they just do it on QR code, and sometimes when you ask questions, and they start repeating themselves, you know, they're hitting it so many times, and I know when I take an online survey on my phone, I was like, okay, my attention span gone after a couple minutes. You know, they've asked so
Yep.
many questions, so it's just things to think about as you word your question and then how you're gonna get your response out of it, kind of your best and quickest response. But then you guys have write-ins, and write-ins are always good.
is there like a sweet spot that you found for like a 2-minute survey or?
Yeah, we try and be like between 15 to 18 questions, give or take. We've had some communities that put like 40 questions in, and it's just what they want, you know, it's like, okay, but it's just, you see what you get. And, you know, you try and get, if you can get 2 to 5% of the community to take it, then, yeah, it's amazing. You know, then how long you're gonna have the survey out for, and how are you gonna advertise it, and how you're gonna publicize it, you know? Those are all kind of important things. You know, we do it on Facebook, we do it when we do like a Facebook launch, like we usually launch a survey on a Friday. People are, you know, from their computers or whatever on Friday, and so we kind of do an advertisement on Facebook, so it says Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's a kind of like a blitz, it's an advertisement, and people tend to take this, most times at least people take in the survey. And we do it for zip code, so we would go into the zip code, when when you watch it. And I don't know all the different capabilities you guys have, we weren't happy to help you guys with any of it that you like, but that's just what it is. And then we put it out for, there's a rule of thought that after those first 3 days, that's kind of the amount of the surveys you're gonna get, because you've done that push. But some communities keep it out for a month, usually 4 weeks at least. Some keep it out for 3 months, but what we do is keep it out for a month. And then we get back and say, hey, we've gotten 500 surveys, you guys had a goal of 800. Do you want to do one more push? To see, to get out a little bit more. And sometimes there's special events, Halloween, holiday things going on, whatever it might be. A big board that says, we're, to give us your thoughts and your input, big QR code, and just the more community opportunities that you have to get out in front of the public would be.
Winterfest, could you get this up and running by Winterfest to have like a table at Winterfest to hand out surveys?
We're just waiting on you guys to tell us what questions you want. So, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
anything's possible, right?
When is Winterfest?
Oh, gosh.
It's
October
well,
1st.
it starts around, well, it's actually winter week now.
Oh, it's
You have to use pencils and not pens.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pens would
like
freeze.
it's,
Friday after Thanksgiving.
Friday, yeah, okay.
Sunday, sorry.
and they're doing a Grinch run, and
Yeah.
then we have the trees and stuff, and
Oh,
then,
yeah.
but there is an actual like event. The Winterfest
Right,
night,
on Saturday, yeah.
so.
But you're right, like the Grinch run, I think, is the Sunday of Thanksgiving week, yeah.
And there's other times, I mean, those are just all ideas. I mean, you guys want to have good quality questions. I mean, you don't want to rush it. It's, if you guys take your time without going through them. There's other times to do it, but just if you're gonna get it out, to maybe hear it that way.
Other thought would be, what
And I
about
think that's why it's not out yet, just because we've just kind of been working through what it is that you guys are trying to figure out.
what about
changed
sending
quite a
it
bit.
with your newsletter?
We would
Have thought
definitely
about
do that.
Okay.
But I mean, this all started with the QR code,
Mhm.
right? It was really when Wilton, who was in here, Randy said, I was driving through and I saw the QR codes on the thing. I thought, oh, that was a great idea. And it's like this started.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah, it helps.
I feel like not our generation. Our generation, the millennials are still at first, QR codes. The baby boomers on that. Yeah. You love QR code?
Do,
Yeah.
handy. All right, so to move this forward, I would say I would like to see whatever revisions, additions, subtractions that any of us have next month. So that we can try to get this
Let's
thing
get this thing rolling, get it out of here.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna make those revisions and like submit them to Randy, or are you just gonna hold on to them until the next meeting?
We would. We can do it either way, but I mean, usually think about that, hold it till the next meeting and then go from there.
we can finalize the questions in the next meeting.
Yeah. Any other comments on the survey? On to the review of the 300 Grand River parking lot plan.
I guess that's probably me. I don't know if this is the latest and greatest, but I think it's pretty close. So we're gonna do this parking lot up here at the corner of Grand River and Woodhull. Everybody know what parking lot I'm talking about, where we tore the buildings down and whatnot. So this is, yep, this is in front of school. This is on Grand River Road. And then this is Woodhull. The buses are all gonna come in over here and go back out right there on Woodhull Street. where they used to come in, come down here to Grand River. Now they're gonna come in down here and just go right back out. Then we're gonna change this parking, so there's no entrance from Grand River onto that parking lot, and then, there'll be 41, 44 spaces in here. The other change we want to make is over here. There's parking on that side of the road right now. And there's like a bump out right here by the stop sign. We want to remove that curb and bump out and kind of get it all back a little bit and remove that parking there. So it'll be curbed again, but that parking is going to go away. Because when those school buses come out of here and these cars are trying to go in there. And people are, it's just, it's very congested right there.
But you're gaining a lot more parking spots from the parking area. right?
Yeah, you are. It's just, yeah, and we, we do get complaints from people that can't get through there sometimes.
Is Woodhull Street wide enough if you have a line of buses waiting to turn in that other buses can go out?
They've been turning in there for years, but I don't know. I mean, they're
Same
gonna come in one end, and go out that one same direction,
The
so.
timing doesn't seem to be that they line up to go in there
Oh, okay.
for some reason. I don't know exactly why,
Okay.
but
That's not gonna be an issue.
And I have
I mean,
some,
that's the school, they did the stacking ratio, so it's down here, they're gonna stack buses all through there. I don't know how many buses they can get in there at a time, but they did.
Oh, we've been all in there.
I think it was 9, didn't you say?
Oh, that's
Something like
right,
that.
you're right. I'm sorry. I drove bus. Yeah, we do 9 and 3 would stay back in the middle school, and then we have them, 3 went out, the other ones would go up.
Okay, so they have that all figured out,
Yeah,
like how many can get in here and then this is gonna be, we're hoping to put a sign there. School has sign over here already that says school and all that stuff. We wanna put something there that welcomes people to Langsburg and it's digital. We can run it from here and put our movies, our music, or whatever we have going on there. And decorate it, make it all landscape nicely. The school, these right here are proposed to be cement. And we're recommending that be grass and trees, not necessarily grass, but landscaped
Landscape.
nicely. Because, you need some drainage in there for that parking lot and you need some green space. And I know it's a pain to mow a little spot like that, so our guys don't want that either, but we would like to see something there that looks a little bit better. The school is proposing to replace this sidewalk right here. I'm proposing, and it's not on this drawing, that we replace this sidewalk right here. Because most of that sidewalk is 4 inches. You're gonna have school buses driving over that right there. All kinds of cars driving over that right there. You're gonna want 6, 8 inches
Yeah.
thick concrete.
Yeah.
And so otherwise, it's just gonna be a crushed up mess. So I'm recommending that we bid that as an alternate, so the city would pay for that piece. Just like I'm assuming the school is alternating this piece that they want done. They have one big light right there, like a institutional light. I'm recommending that we put in our decorative poles that are like downtown, so that it looks nice.
It would blend into the downtown area.
Yeah, yeah.
Just be more aesthetic.
Yep,
I like
and the other recommendation that, we've talked about is the fence right here. Want it to be white and nice like our fences that we have in downtown, so the whole thing kind of blends nicely with the school and the city.
Question on the bus loop, is that gonna specifically say buses only?
I
'Cause
have
it's,
no
I've been to
idea.
a lot of, in my
I
prior
would
job,
assume that the
in my
schools
prior
would
job,
do
I
that.
went to a lot of schools, they had their own separate bus loop.
Yeah,
And
I would
anybody,
imagine-
people be, no, get out,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
But I
So
mean,
they
we're
have signs
I
and
mean,
stuff.
we're not policing that, the school, I'm pretty sure is handling all of that, but.
But it's
So-
great to
so
have its
part-
own separate bus loop.
Oh, yeah.
But part of the problem with that, Scott, is going to be that garage for that house is right there. And if you say, they aren't gonna be able to get to there. I'm just saying, that's a problem.
Well, unless they know, okay, it's one,
Yes,
one or two
Yeah.
cars in the whole community that are gonna be allowed to go in there.
I'm agreeing with you. There should be school buses only,
Yeah.
but that's gonna be a problem, is that garage and
Well,
that
they've
person
been
parks.
dealing
it.
with it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
This
about
is gonna
on
be
your
a great
sign,
improvement.
you could put times that the buses are expected.
Again, the school is gonna be handling those signs and, I mean, it's
They will
really,
be, okay.
I mean, that's the school is not gonna. I mean, they're gonna do whatever they've been doing for school travel.
Right.
So is there a timeline on this now?
Right now, we're holding it up.
Well, we've been holding.
We are?
it for-
No?
Oh, get out of here.
So actually, right now, they've sent it to us for approval and I've been working through it and I mean, those changes. Are not, we're just starting to see some of these changes that I've asked for come back. And once we get that, then we all need to get together. Because what I did is put our engineers with their engineers and said, okay. Let's make sure this works for us too, because I mean, we had concerns and they weren't addressed on the drawings, so. Once those get in writing, then everybody approves of the design, so if you guys have any questions or concerns about, anything else that. I mean, then we'll put it out to bid. So, our zoning ordinance says certain things about that, so much green space and whatnot, and so, and. Technically, and you guys probably know this, the schools don't usually have to follow. The zoning ordinances or the, like, I mean, they don't have to get like building permits, like, it's a whole different
Yeah, well,
ball game with the school. When they did that addition and stuff on the other side, that, there was. Like, they didn't have to, make sure that the water didn't drain on the neighbors. I mean, and ours clearly says that, if, you've got to take care of your own water and things like that, and so. We're trying our best to still, at least in the piece where, the middle piece, like trying to make sure we get that green space in there. And that the lighting is right, it doesn't shine on the neighbors and that kind of thing, so. Just trying to avoid some future issues, but. More or less, I mean, we've been working on this for a while. So I think it's pretty much come together, but it's the school and the city trying to do a project together, and sometimes those things, they take a little time. They have their way of doing things, we have ours, but we all want this done, so. I think it's gonna be a great improvement, but I would really like to see it be a piece of downtown, and that's why. I think we should put our decorative lamps in there and a sign and, so.
I think that-
The DDA is working on getting a sign for that space, so.
That's all I got.
I don't,
Fantastic.
one more little added thing. I know we were talking about the local market. Could that eventually be the new spot for the market? Would that
Farmers
be easier?
market?
Yeah. Instead of the side street, it would get a lot more visibility right at the main intersection in town. That would be a great idea for like Saturdays and Sundays only. That way it's not interrupting the school patterns or
Yeah,
anything else.
that's a good idea.
I think you give great visibility there because it's right where everything is.
Let's get it built and then we'll see what we can do about that.
Well, let's not hold them up, and
That's crazy.
All right. Any more discussion of the parking lot?
Nope, it's looking
And we
good.
don't need to do anything with this. We don't need to sign.
No, I mean, if you guys have like some major issue or you disagree with the things I
You guys
mentioned that we're working on, then, we need to know it, but.
Comfortable with it.
be nice to get it moving, but it's not, I mean.
Yeah, we're just, once we get through all these design changes, then we're gonna, once everybody approves, then we'll put it out to bid. Hopefully next spring.
Like the bench near that sign.
We haven't got that
Oh,
far,
right,
but,
okay.
But that's kind of what
but yeah,
we're
just-
talking about, something like
Yeah.
along those lines, right?
Depends on how big the sign gets and if there's room for bench.
Mhm.
But there is room, out here for benches and stuff too, sitting along Woodhall or Brent River, so.
Any other items of discussion anybody has?
No, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you to adjourn this meeting.
Yeah.